What's up, y'all? This is Propel Hitting, and welcome to Drill of the Week. What's up, y'all? Back at it again, Hitting Drill of the Week. Really excited. Here we go. Okay, so here's one that we're going to work on. It's going to work on our hip line not being disrupted. Okay, big long term for really just like we want our movements to be controlled. We don't want to feel falling. We don't want to load back. We don't want to do any of that stuff, right? So this drill is going to focus on our hip line, right? So the line through the center of our body staying balanced as we approach the ball. So not having a bunch of change as the foot gets off, not having change as we get to the ground, right? There's gonna be some, right? There's gonna be some shift in our head and stuff like that because that's just moving, right? But we don't want that hip line, okay, to get thrown off or affected late because all that, the hip line in the middle affects everything with the bat. We want the bat to be free so it can play, all right? So I'm gonna go over here, so let's go. Okay, so a thought to consider before we get started, okay, is thinking about the core, the center of the body, controlling the leg instead of the hip having to mess with everything, right? And here's why I think that's a good think about before we start, okay? Is because we're here, when this foot gets off, we are unbalanced. At that point, our brain is searching for the ground. It's searching for normalcy, okay? And so like when we're unbalanced and our hip has control of too much, then it starts to overcompensate, which then, like we talked about, could affect the barrel and the path and the approach, which is the last thing that we want, okay? So we want to kind of feel like, you know, like the center, right? Our leg is working from underneath the shoulders, right? Or within the core or something like that, right? So this is very simple. I'm going to show a couple different angles of this, right? To really help you get there, right? So you just need something like this. I got a bucket, right? So make sure it's low enough to where it's not like your legs up here or anything like that, right? So you can really use kind of whatever you want, okay? And essentially, so I'm going to get here, right? And I'm going to rest here. So what I'm going to make sure is that I'm not too heavy, right? As I slip, and that I'm not too heavy back here, right? So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and engage that leg and that heel into the ground, right? And then feel this lift and hold it, right? Because as I do that, now I can stay with my middle, right? Whether you're a toe up, toe down guy, or somewhere in between, okay? But if I've got that in the ground, I'm holding it, right? And then now this is controlled, right? I'm nice and super quiet. Eyes stay locked, barrel stays still, and has the same approach to when we started, okay? Because when we get going and the adrenaline gets going, our brain goes off of where the bat was when we started, okay? And where the brain knows where we get to our set position or where we launch to the baseball from, that launch position, okay? So when our hip has too much or this, that, right? Like this can get affected and the brain operates, right, from where it was. And if it's changed, then we're in trouble, okay? So this is really simple, okay? So like I said, I'm gonna feel that heel down, right? See my posture's like this. I'm not here and I'm not swayed back too much, right? I want my hip to be working and feeling down through my leg into the ground, like a broad, right, is down into the ground, right? And I'm being able to hold that. Okay, so I'm gonna get here, get balanced. Okay, I'm gonna go real slow, real controlled, down, okay, and then swing from there. Set the back leg, set the hip line where we want it, down, go. Okay, you can even throw a feel in here to make sure that you are doing what you want to do. Okay, so here, down. Okay, do I like it? Nope. Okay, I'm gonna go back. Here, down, I like that. And just nice and easy from there, okay? So let's get a couple different angles so you can see my legs and see how all that's done so you can kind of go from there. Here, controlled, make sure the knee doesn't bow out, right? Heel down, okay, with a feel down, feel, swing. Okay, now I'm gonna go full swing. Okay, so control it with the core and then release. Okay, another angle. Okay, really feel, not rushing with the hands, let your body finish. Let your body finish. Okay. Okay, so let's go listen to this clip that talks a little bit more about controlling the backside, why it's so important, controlling the body, and why we talk about it so much, okay? Let's go look at it right now. Everybody talks about the back hip in the swing, right? But I don't know if we know why. Because, so the way our brain works, right, anytime we're unbalanced, our brain freaks out, okay? And it does an extreme thing to get us back into balance, right? If you're like this, right? Right, I do an extreme to get back there, right? When I go back this way, I don't even out, right? My body's doing an extreme to get me back there, okay? So the reason everybody talks so much about the front hip is because you're now unbalanced. You're off the ground. My body wants to be balanced so I can just chill and sit here and relax, okay? So that's why back hip, you've heard that your whole life, right? That's why, because I'm here and my brain is freaking out. Okay, so one of the biggest things about when we're doing this is that hip line to stay, because we don't want to be like some guys do leg kicks, right? But like the guys in the bigs that do leg kicks, if you watch them, right, it's up, down. The hip line stays the same, right? There's no shift, there's no up, it stays right there, okay? So the reason that the back hip is so important is because now we're off and my body's freaking out, right? That's why there's so many drills, there's so much talk, there's so much about the back hip, right? Because the natural tendency is to get here, I'm gonna push and get to the ground because I gotta get to the ground, I'm freaking out. As opposed to being disciplined, right? And staying with that, and then I get here and now I can go. Does that make sense? So understand why your back hip is so important, because I'm off the ground and my body's freaking out. See, so keeping that hip line balanced, right? And unmoved late, unmessed with late is super important, okay? So that's why this is really good. You can take this, make a variation of it, right? Do it with what you have, but just like the focus point, right, being not here with the leg, right? Because the hip can only do so much, right, at this angle, right? Especially when we're trying to go forward, okay? So just feeling that, whatever it is, right? If you're just a little guy, just feeling like a little step there, right? Whatever it is, okay? Just feeling controlled as I move, okay? So that'll really help you and really help you kind of can feel controlled, especially if you feel like you're falling or you stay heavy back here because you feel like you're falling. This will really help you kind of work on controlling that while you load so you can explode, okay? So that's what we're doing today. So if you want to see what we're doing next week, subscribe this, make sure you like and comment it so we can keep giving you more and it keeps helping you out more. So I'll see you next week, because if you hit the subscribe, I get to, baby. See ya!